Welcome to Vidhu channel. This is not a just-in-time series. This is not like other videos that we generally, upload in our channel. But this is a very special video. In this special video, um, we would like to share something really very beautiful message, excellent, wonderful message from one of the spiritual leaders, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. So, this is taken from www.dalailama.com website. As you see on the screen, look at the title, right? What a profound. Generally, of course, we all, go through a lot of management related, business related, entertainment related content, right, in the internet. And as part of that, I have come across this, nice message, especially for leaders. And I wanted to share and spread this message through our channel also, because I strongly believe peace is the invaluable thing, and that's the most essential thing for our world today and even for tomorrow. Our next generations, if our children, the next generation has to be happy and prosperous, then we must contribute in terms of preserving or restoring peace. So let's go through the message. Here, as you see on the screen, I can read this, so you can just close your eyes and you can listen to this, or you can just follow with me. You can parallel read, right? Okay. The Dalai Lama on why leaders should be mindful, selfless, and compassionate. Look at this, right? The Dalai Lama on why leaders should be mindful, selfless, and compassionate. There's no other go. It should be, right? So that's the compelling, title. So let's look at this. Over the past nearly 60 years, I have engaged with many leaders of governments, companies, and other organizations, and I have observed how our societies have developed and changed. I am happy to share some of my observations in case others may benefit from what I have learned. See, he is sharing his lessons, the best practices, his whatever he has observed in last 60 years. Okay, leaders, whatever field they work in, have a strong impact on people's lives and on how the world develops. We should remember that we are visitors on this planet. We are here for 90 or 100 years at the most. During this time, we should work to leave the world a better place. How beautiful this, paragraph, right? See, most of our life, our mind is filled with leaders, right? Especially those who are working in companies, organizations, institutions, right? If family is occupying 50% of your brain, the other 50%, the rest 50% of your brain is occupied by your boss. There is no doubt, correct? By your leaders, voluntarily or involuntarily, whether you like it or don't like it, whether it is conscious or unconscious. They have huge impact on our life, yes or no? So now let's proceed. Okay, this paragraph, second paragraph, right? So what might a better world look like? I believe the answer is straightforward. A better world is one where people are happier. Absolutely. Why? Because all human beings want to be happy and no one wants to suffer. Yes, our desire for happiness is something we all have in common. Exactly. Everybody wants to be happy, right? Okay, so but today the world seems to be facing an emotional crisis. Rates of stress, anxiety, and depression are higher than ever. The gap between rich and poor and between CEOs and employees is at a historic high. Oh my god, what a wonderful, profound message. Absolutely true, right? The distance between rich and poor, I mean, the gap, the variation, we can say, statistically, the variation is very high. And between CEOs and employees, distance, the gap is very high, right? The gap it's talking about, the deviation or the variation. Now, some of you may be thinking, right? So, what is so big deal about this? Of course, rich is rich and poor is poor, and there must be a gap, and there is a gap. That's natural. What is one? No, there is a risk if we leave it like this. There is a risk if the gap exists, if the gap continues to exist. You know why? How? Do you know how? Okay. So imagine that you are the only richest person finally, right, in your entire city, the ultimate rich, and people around you, right, the surroundings and the people around you are poor, right? Do you think you will have a peaceful life? Do you think you can drive your car peacefully on the streets when everybody is across the road, both the sides of the road, people are starving for food? And do you think will that society be really secure? Think about it. If everybody is struggling in their life and no proper food, shelter, money, do you think all those people keep the environment or city or village or country or whatever it is? Do you think they'll keep it peaceful? Absolutely not, right? When other person is starving and his dreams are shattered, not fulfilled, not able to live his life like you, the richest person, right? Obviously, that the amount of frustration we might have seen in the movies also, right? Some of the movies where even the Joker character also, it's like that. There's absolutely no cruel intentions of a Joker to kill people. It's just that it has evolved as a depression, as a result of carelessness from his childhood, as a result of bullying or harassment at organization or even society, as a result of people not showing respect towards his life, as a result of negligence, sheer negligence. Think about it. You may get a brilliant analogy or explanation. I may not able to explain with more examples right now, right? So you think about this. So okay, now let me resume here. Now I'm reading again. And the focus on turning a profit often overrules a commitment to people, the environment, or society. So we all know the number game, right? Everybody is running behind the numbers, 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 profit. See, profits are required, but at the cost of what? Today's solutions should not become tomorrow's problems. How many of yesterday's solutions are becoming a big problem today? How many of your yesterday's projects that you are sitting and deploying a special team, task force, SWAT team, or a backlog clearance team, right? How much additional cost that it took for you to correct the mess or a chaos created by the past team or a previous CEO? Think about it, right? So why? Because they were also running behind the numbers. Nobody is against numbers. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants to be profit. But at the cost of what? The balancing is important, right? That's where the balanced scorecard strategy, wonderful strategy, that was a balanced scorecard strategy is there. A lot of wonderful methods are there. A lot of management consultancy companies have provided excellent, enormous tools and techniques to run an organization in a most beautiful way. I know some of the CEOs may dislike to hear these statements, but the time will, make them realize, right? But majority agree. Definitely, majority of the people agree. They realize, right? So we are running behind. See, um, why to talk about profit? Let's even think about the money, right? We are running behind money. Let's say everybody is rich, everybody has money, right? But nobody has food in their plate. Nobody is growing the agriculture, paddy fields. Nobody is cultivating, right? There is no milk, there is no bread, there is no wheat, there is no rice, there is no millets. Millets is now the focus, right? So there is no millets, there is no there are no vegetables, there are no fruits, but everybody is rich, everybody has money, everybody has car, luxury cars, everybody is having a big screen with a lot of entertainment, n number of subscriptions. Do you think you can live for a day? Can you survive without the basic commodities? But then why are we putting so much effort? I have read somewhere in social media also. Somebody has mentioned it in a very beautiful way. See, the society has become in such a way that we are selling vegetables next to a drainage, the thing on the street, roadside. But we are selling shoes and slippers and all these in a AC, inside AC showroom. And I am not saying that AC is really the best and greatest thing. No, sunlight is the real the real source, and that's the real fortune. But what I'm saying is, look at the condition in which the vegetable vendors are selling the vegetables. They should have at least a basic decent place, a flexible place for them to sell their, for them to, we should not even use the word sell, for them to serve the vegetables for us. You may check my other video actually in this same channel podcast. um, you know if customer is a king, then what about subscribers, right? There I have mentioned some of the beautiful points. I'm not boasting myself, right? But is the comments that I received from one of the best of the best industry people. They appreciated it. That's where the pride comes. Anyway, now coming back to the this article. Okay, now this is the paragraph is here. I consider our tendency to see each other in terms of us and them as stemming from ignorance of our interdependence. What does it mean? I consider our tendency to see each other in terms of us and, yeah, stemming from ignorance of our interdependence. See, we are forgetting that we are depending on each other. See, there is another video in the same channel. Live and let others live. But do you know how exactly? That is the title of the video. Live and let others live. Please watch that. I've explained clearly. We are all interdependent on each other. Where the gas cylinder is coming from, electricity is coming from, who is producing the clothes, right? Who is generating the electricity? Who is manufacturing the laptops? Who is cultivating the vegetables, rice? And who is giving the water? Everything comes from nature, and and those items are being processed, transformed, and supplied by the respective business people. We are dependent on each other. That's the interdependence, right? And if you say that I versus you or us versus them, do you think it makes sense? It doesn't. That's what His Holiness Dalai Lama is explaining here. So let me read now. As participants in the same global economy, we depend on each other. While changes in the climate and the global environment affect us all. What's more, as human beings, we are physically, mentally, and emotionally the same. Absolutely. Hunger is common for everybody. Appetite, right? Emotions, the growth, aspirations. Everyone has their dreams. Everybody wants to fulfill their dreams. See, we are all here temporary. That's, I think that's what the first paragraph says, right? We are all here temporary. Here we are here for 90 or 100 years. 90 is also a big deal right nowadays. Anyway, yeah. Now look at bees. They have no constitution. No, they have no constitution, police, or moral training, but they work together in order to survive. See, do we need to wait to get into the situation of the bee's life? Meaning, do we need to wait where survival is becoming mandatory and cooperation is becoming mandatory? And do we need a policy to make the cooperation mandatory? Do we need a policy to make being honest is becoming the corporate policy? We should not expect such things, right? Okay, let me read again. Though they may occasionally squabble, the colony survives. He's talking about the bees, right? The colony survives on the basis of cooperation. Human beings on basis of cooperation. Full stop. Okay. Now, human beings, on the other hand, have constitutions. Yes. Complex legal systems. Yes. I'm sorry. And police forces. We have remarkable intelligence and a great capacity for love and affection. Yet, despite our many extraordinary qualities, we seem less able to cooperate. Look at the people who are, you know, struggling and suffering. And most surprising thing is, some of the professions, they think that as long as problems are there on this earth, they have a job. Right? The thinking has gone to that extent where they're expecting others to suffer and go to them, and then they can make money out of it. But think about it, how long they will able to make money out of the sick people or struggled people or victims? How long? Let's say the victim has maybe 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. Let's say 50 lakhs. If that 50 lakhs is exploited by various professions, right? Now, you lost the customer, right? You lost one person. So like this, if everybody is exploiting others through the same, policies and the constitutions, whatever, whatever the problems that we are, facing, then do you think there is a prosperity? There can be a prosperity in society? Do you think those people who have exploited, unfortunately, those professions, right, who has exploited these people, or who has, let's say, in a good positive way, right, who has served these people, the victims, and took money from them, who will give the salary once these victims become the poor of the poorest people? Let's say I'm a doctor, okay, and I am not relying on natural solutions. Fortunately, unfortunately, I studied something and then I want to give a treatment, but the treatment is not making the patient becoming a better patient, and he is spending so much money. I am giving treatment, he is taking, he is spending, he is taking treatment, I am prescribing, he is eating the medicines, taking the medicines, but still no problem, no improvement. One day he will leave the world, right? What happens to the family? Do you think the family will afford to face the, I mean, get the treatments or whatever it is, if at all they get into the trouble? You lost the customer, right? So we should not think about creating one time customers. Even it should not be about repeated customers. Repeated customer means it is not that one customer repeatedly coming. It means your business is on repeat mode where multiple customers are coming and buying that, and the prosperity is increasing both the sides. Anyway, it's a long explanation. Let me go back to this article. Where are we here? In organizations, people work closely together every day. Correct. But despite working together, many feel lonely and stressed. Even though we are social animals, there is a lack of responsibility toward each other. We need to ask ourselves what's going wrong. Very true. Some people get promotions out of surprise, out of blues. Some people, even though they're both people working together closely, very closely, and we promote the teamwork and the common objectives, common goals. How come, if the goals are common, objective is common, mission and vision is common, and the end of the day the service is common to the customers, how come only few selected people get promotion? Why some other people don't get promotion? Well, it's a big topic, and this will lead to Dr. Deming's 14 management principles also. If somebody is interested to know this particular subject or topic, this particular point, you can refer Dr. Deming's 14 management principles, and you may have to do a lot of research there to understand, right? And there is also another book called I think Punished by Rewards. There is another book, interesting book. I'm not saying that there should not be promotions, there should not be any, not like that. Promotion, if each individual should be in a position to accept or reject the promotion. Let's say if I know that I have not done a great job, right? And if somebody, let's say organization, thinks that I have done a great job, and if organization is ready to give me a promotion, I should be in a position to say that no, I am not yet ready. Give me promotion next week, or maybe sorry, not next week, next year, right? Something like that. It looks too much altruistic, right? Too much altruism, right? But it is not actually. That is the level of compassion each person should see. It is not again a compassion. It is a commitment, being honest to yourself. If you know that you don't deserve it, how can you accept something that you don't deserve just because other person is so ignorant about your true performance? That is the that's the actual meaning of being honest with yourself. Okay, I'm reading now. I believe that our strong focus on material development and accumulating wealth has led us to neglect our basic human need for kindness and care. Yes, reinstating a commitment to the oneness of humanity. My God, and altruism towards our brothers and sisters is a fundamental. See, I didn't read this paragraph, right? But I used the word altruistic and altruism. It's such a great coincidence that what I just said, it's written here. Some of you may not believe that, right? But of course, yeah, the purpose here is not to make you believe, right? The purpose is to convey the message here, and let's understand the beauty, the wisdom of this, and the necessity of this message, please. Altruism, please search in internet. It's a beautiful concept. You will be shocked and surprised to understand what is altruism. You go through this, okay? Now, towards our brothers and sisters is fundamental for societies and organizations and their individuals to thrive in the long run. Very rarely we hear this the words long-term strategy is what the leaders, unfortunately, some of the leaders hate. The CEOs hate. They don't want long-term strategies. They want right now, right? Right now. I think there is a movie in that there is a character called Ippo Ramaswamy, right? Ippo. The villain says that I am the Ippo Ramaswamy. Right now, everything right now, right? Long run is very allergic to some of the leaders. Okay, every one of us has a responsibility to make this happen. What can leaders do? Right, that's the question. His Holiness Dalai Lama is asking. Now, be mindful. That is the ultimate answer. Be meaning be conscious always what we are doing, right? So let me read. Cultivate peace of mind. As human beings, we have remarkable intelligence that allows us to analyze and plan for the future. We have language that enables us to communicate what we have understood to others. Since destructive emotions are like anger and attachment cloud our ability to use our intelligence clearly, we need to tackle them. Fear and anxiety easily give way to anger and violence. The opposite of fear is trust, which related to warm-heartedness boosts our self-confidence. Compassion also self-confidence. Compassion also reduces fear, reflecting as it does a concern for others' well-being. This, not money and power, is what really attracts friends when we are under the sway of anger and attachment. We are limited in our ability to take a full and realistic view of the situation. When the mind is compassionate, it is calm and we are able to use our sense of reason practically, realistically, and with determination. Be selfless, right? Fear, unfortunately, fear has become a big business. Inducing the fear has become a big business. And in the case of children, fear has become a kind of, tool to bring the discipline, right? Unfortunately, it shouldn't be. Discipline has to come through the repeat expressions of compassion and kindness and explaining the consequences with the impact. Too heavy explanation, right? That's fine. That's the power of reading positive things. Okay, let me read here this paragraph. We are naturally driven by self-interest. Of course, naturally driven. See, it's necessary to survive, but we need wise self-interest that is generous and cooperative. Yes, see, you can't really escape or you can't skip being, self-interest on yourself, right? But what the message here is, you should be really generous and cooperative. You can have self-interest, but it should be generous and cooperative, taking others' interests into account. Cooperation comes from friendship comes from trust, and trust comes from kind-heartedness. Once you have a genuine sense of concern for others, there is no room for cheating, bullying, explanation. Absolute. Instead, you can be honest, truthful, and transparent in your conduct. So, be compassionate. What are the three things? Be mindful, be selfless, be compassionate. Now, the ultimate source of a happy life is warm-heartedness. Even animals, right? Indian pronunciations and be proud of that, right? Don't feel um, too low about that, right? Every country has their own pronunciations. So, when I say animals, don't feel. Even animals display some sense of compassion. When it comes to human beings, compassion can be combined with intelligence. Through the application of reason, compassion can be extended to all 7 billion human beings. Very true. Destructive emotions are related to ignorance, while compassion is a constructive emotion. See, simple things, right? And we are missing, we are ignoring. Let's say if the audience are falling sick, I mentioned this in one of my other podcasts also multiple times. If audience are losing their senses, becoming so violent by watching your entertainment, right? Then do you think you can make money from the same audience repeatedly? If audience falls sick, then who will watch your movies? Who will watch your videos? Who will watch your content? So the all the entertainment industry producers or please think about it. I know nobody intentionally try to spoil others, right? But some of you may be thinking that what is there to spoil? It is just an entertainment. For you, it may be just an entertainment. But anything and everything that goes into the mind has a tremendous impact on human brain and has an impact on society. If you want, you can do a social experiments also. If you want, you can even do a scientific experiment also. Just to play some violent of the violent, movies to a kid every day, right? For 6 months. Then imagine how he becomes or she becomes. But do you really want to do such kind of, irrational experiments? Of course, no, right? Anyway, so next, the source of a happy life is within us. Troublemakers in many parts of the world are often quite well educated. So it is not just education that we need. What we need is to pay attention to inner values. So I think the schools, every school has to read this, or since I'm recording this, so I request all the schools to go through this and make the children understand, right? So that tomorrow we can build a beautiful, peaceful world. Okay, next paragraph. The distinction between violence and non-violence lies less in nature. See, again there is a great coincidence. He is talking about His Holiness. He is talking about violence and non. I just spoke about it, right? See, I am also reading this for the first time. I just read first one paragraph, two paragraphs, right, before making this video. Then I really immediately felt that why can't I just record it and spread this, because this is essential. So I started reading in a real time in this video, right? And it's a great coincidence. Whatever thoughts coming in my mind, it is written here. The distinction between violence and non-violence lies less in the nature of a particular action and more in the motivation behind the action. Absolutely. Actions motivated by anger and greed tend to be violent, whereas those motivated by compassion and concern for others are generally peaceful. Very true. We want to bring about peace in the world only merely, right? Only by praying for it. We have to take steps to tackle the violence and corruption. See, that is, we can't expect change if we don't take action. Absolutely. Simple messages, very powerful messages, right? See what Sri Dalai Lama. Shri is a honorable and respectful, right? So we call it as a Shri. Here what he says, just simply praying that we need peace, 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 it will not bring peace, right? We must act towards it. That's the message here. Peace also means being undisturbed, free from danger. It relates to our mental attitude and whether we have a calm mind or not. Yes, what is crucial to realize is that ultimately peace of mind is within us. It requires that we develop a warm heart and use our intelligence. People often, right? Often also we can say, people often don't realize that warm-heartedness, compassion and love are actually factors for our survival. Wonderful. It is true. But we should not, let the, uh, life come to this level of, thing where it is becoming a mandatory. Don't get into a situation where anything becoming mandatory, right? Then we are losing the freedom, right? Tomorrow, if somebody say that, hey, eating potato kills so and so virus, and you should mandatorily eat, and maybe it's a finding or discovery from a scientific experiment, then can you imagine 100 crores or 7 billion population, right? 7 billion people running behind a potato to kill a particular virus. Do you, do you think it's a wise solution? If everybody start running behind potato, and everybody wants to eat potato, then I don't think that's the kind of solutions, right? So unfortunately, we are having such kind of solutions in place. We are thinking that yes, if you take this will eradicate everything, or this will go on. No, you must know what is good and what is useful and what works for you, because you are special, you are unique. Each and every body is unique, each and every mind is unique. So one solution doesn't apply. That's the message. Okay, The Dalai Lama is the spiritual leader of sorry, here. We don't take action. I think I read this. Free from danger. That's it. Okay, next this paragraph. Buddhist tradition describes three styles of compassionate leadership. The trailblazer, who leads from the front, takes risks, and sets an example. The ferryman, who accompanies those in his care and shapes the ups and downs of the crossing, and the shepherd, who sees everyone of his flock into safety before himself. Three styles, three approaches, but what they have in common is an all encompassing concern for the welfare of those they lead. How many people are leading with compassion? How many team leads? How many leaders? Right. Now, the Dalai Lama is the spiritual leader of the Tibetan people. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989 and the US Congressional Gold Medal in 2007. Erasmus Hogard is the founder and managing director of Potential Project, a global leadership and organization development firm, and the co-author of the new book, The Mind of the Leader: How to Lead Yourself, Your People, and Your Organization for Extraordinary Results. He has created an app that will help you develop. Oh, okay. There is an app also. The Dalai Lama with Erasmus Hogard, published in the Harvard Business Review, Feb 20, 2019. Right. So this is what this article about. Right. So all content copyright belongs to Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Right. So this is their website. What a nice article, right? What a nice article. What a nice message. This is worth sharing and spreading to every level across the board. Yes or no? If you like it, you can even share this, video, or you can directly share the, post, whatever it is. And thank you for your patience and going through this particular video and this particular article. I wish you all the very best. Let's promote peace, please.